Okay. There we go. Hello. Hey. Oh, there are already comments. Let me catch up with those. Yeah. Some people go either way on jury duty, I see. But for me, yeah, I'm on that boat as well, where I also do not care for being picked for jury duty. Exceeded 10K subscribers. Yeah. Like, I think that's pretty cool that I was able to get 10,000 subscribers. That's pretty great. But also at the same time, it's the most important metric is the audience engagement, like in terms of the views and the comments and the likes and things like that. Subscribers just allow me to appear more on people's feed, but if people aren't watching the videos, then it's all for naught, you know? So I'm trying to make my content more engaging and more active. Like, last week was my birthday, and which is one of the reasons why I was spending the whole day with my family. Normally I would have spent another day with my family. That didn't impede on my live stream, but that was the only day during the week that I could do it. So when I went home, I saw my family, and one of the gifts was a better quality camera, which is what I'm using right now. And I was so deeply appreciative of it, and here we are now. So this is really cool. I don't know if I look like a kid. Hi. Hello! I don't mind being on a case for jury duty, but not when you have airfare scheduled. And if... not to have airfare scheduled? Yeah, I feel that. Hello from North Carolina. Hope everyone is having a great day / night. That's wonderful. Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah. It's awesome that you're from North Carolina. It's a state I haven't visited yet, and I would love the opportunity. And I also hope that you're having a wonderful day / night as well. Thank you for the belated birthday. I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, I think it's a nice excuse to take a bit of a breather, enjoy the day with loved ones, things like that. So I thought that was really pleasant, a really pleasant day. I got to go out to a shooting range and enjoy some time out there. I went home and spent the day with my family, got some Italian food at a restaurant I've never been to. I don't even remember the name, but it was really good, and I enjoyed it. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys. I try not to put too much emphasis on the birthday, but like I said, I do like using it as an excuse to take a step back from work, enjoy some quality time with people that I really care for. So it was really wonderful. Greetings from Finland. Ooh, That's fun. That is a country I would love to visit. Greetings from where I am at presently, which is hopefully not a place that I'm going to be in forever. Man, the desire to travel and actually get out into the world is so strong, dude. Like, first, I want to visit as many East Asian countries as possible. Then I would like to explore more of Europe. And then go through the entire African continent, South America, and just experience as much as I can. Not to embarrass you, but I've now come to appreciate how gorgeous your eyes are. Aw, that's very sweet. Thank you. I got them on my birthday, meaning the day I was born. Yeah, nobody in my immediate family has blue eyes, which I think is pretty cool. I believe that they are a recessive trait from my grandfather, my great grandfather, one of them. Not completely sure. Welcome to visit. Oh, yes, please. Thank you. Yes. Here's a discussion topic. Last night was something that I think about often is, not to make this morbid, but I think about death quite a lot, and just because there have been people in my life who have either died peacefully in their old age or have died tragically young, and I think about that quite often. And while there was an initial fear of it and a struggle for survival, let's say, or an intrinsic primitive desire, impulse in me to strive for survival, I just that night, that very intense lucid dream I had was so inspiring for me to really even more so enjoy every moment. That doesn't necessarily mean to go out and live every single day like it's your last, but just to, even in the mundane, just fully appreciate life and enjoy each moment as they come and go, regardless of how active you are or how involved you are in a particular activity. Just appreciating the breath, just appreciating everything you have and the people who care for you and how you care for others. And even if you don't leave the biggest imprint on the world, just knowing that you have contributed some fractal of value in the chain of life on Earth, I think that that's very beautiful. And even though last night was a pretty rough night for me, also because I'm in a lot of pain because I overworked myself in one of my workouts, and stretching didn't relieve me of the immense soreness that I'm still feeling. It's, even though last night was rough, I'm still able to find a lot of the beauty and positive aspects about it. And that's what coffee is for this morning. Coffee has been helping me through the day. My cousin and his wife went to Finland last month to meet her brothers for the first time. She was adopted. Oh, that's so awesome. Uh, yeah, actually, just now that you mention it, just recently, uh, my sister's acting coach slash just friend recently went to, I believe, visit a relative for the first time. I think it was a son, maybe. I'm not completely sure, but it was a very touching and beautiful reunion from what I've heard. So it's always really incredible when you have the opportunity to meet people that are tied to your familial tree, and especially if a bunch of circumstances just never presented the opportunity to do so originally. So that's pretty nifty. Let's see. I lifted twice my body workout once. Oh, body workouts are excruciating. So doing twice, ugh. Out of the guys on Muscle Beach hurt like childbirth a couple hours later. Well, even though I can't tell you from firsthand experience, I know what childbirth feels like. I can only imagine the level of soreness and achiness that would cause. Like I still don't have full range of motion in my arms yet. I'm still feeling a lot of pain in my triceps specifically. So, but honestly, yesterday was the first day in a very long time that I went to the gym twice in one day, just because recently, like within the last 3 weeks, I had officially given up smoking marijuana for good, and I've been considerably happier because of it. It was something that I've wanted to get out of my life for a long time, and I've finally been able to do so. I finally developed enough of I guess, an internal resentment for it. It never made me feel productive. I feel like I wasn't really getting anything positive out of it at some point. So I was able to just work out of it intrinsically. And when I had a little bit more free time, I just thought, well, I still want to do something productive, but I don't want to be in front of my screen doing more work, because I knew that would make me miserable. But I also didn't want to do just work in general. So I just went to the gym again. And honestly, even though that might not be the permanent solution, it was definitely a really wonderful feeling. I just focused on cardio, and it was nice. I will admit that it was very nice. Speaking of Finland, a nice sit-in, a Finnish sauna would make you feel better. Well, I don't know anything about Finnish saunas, but I've only ever been in one sauna. It wasn't like a steam room or anything like that. It was just dry, hot air sauna. At my old gym that I used to share with probably 10 other guys at one time. And like, I really do enjoy saunas. but I would like to experience different types, different varieties, of course. Uh, so I'm gonna make myself sound like I'm very old, and I'm obviously not. I'm only 29, but back in my youth, I really, really, really wanted tattoos, and I thought to myself, but if I got tattoos, I couldn't go into Japanese hot springs. And so I just put it off, and I'm very grateful that I did, because at this point in my life, with all of the scars that I've received through my adventures and through self, I think my scars are far more valuable than anything a tattoo could bring me. Not to say that I don't think tattoos still look awesome, but there's nothing a tattoo... There's nothing that a tattoo could bring me that is more valuable than the scars I've received. And I really... It's like what... If you guys have ever seen Cars 2, I believe, where the secret agents are... Spoilers, by the way. The secret agents are saying, Mater, we're gonna get some of your dents out. And Mater's like, nah, no siree. I love these dents. These dents represent really valuable memories. And I really related to that. So I love that. Try pooping a bowling ball. I'd rather not, but I have experienced challenging potty times. I've also heard horror stories of kidney stones and things like that, and I can only imagine how horrifying that is. So I'm just gonna leave that topic. I missed the gym. I seriously missed my room, or I seriously talked to my rheumatologist about that. My mother also has a rheumatologist, and I never remember what they are. Let me look that up. Rheumatologist. A doctor who specializes in diagnosing joints. Ah, yes. Yes, I see. Yes. Okay. Muscles, joints, and bones. That makes a lot of sense. That, yeah. I mean, I really, really love the gym. And I don't even go to a gym. I just go to my apartment complex gym. And all they have there are a few free weights, a few machines, few treadmills, a stair climber. I use the stair climber all the time for my cardio. And as a cool down, I use treadmills. And then depending on the day, I'll separate my muscle groups. And for triceps, I'll use free weights. For biceps, free weights. There's just so many creative ways you can utilize minimal resources to get in shape, and I actually really like the intimacy of my apartment gym in comparison to a gym. There's advantages and cons to both, but I like the intimacy of my apartment gym more. I didn't get my first tattoo until I was in my late 30s. Now I have 3. They're all super meaningful to me, so never say never. I mean, you're absolutely right. And I absolutely believe you. There was when I was in high school, there was a girl I knew, and she was really kind, a lovely vocalist. And she lost her sister to a car accident, and had an entire sleeve devoted to her, and that sleeve still reflects and means so much to her, and I absolutely believe that. But at least where I'm at in my life right now, personally, I think tattoos just aren't something that I really want to invest in. I'd much rather invest in experiences than art right now, if that makes sense. Like if I had $1,000, I'd rather explore a place than invest it in a tattoo. But that's just where I'm at right now. We'll see in the future. But, like you said, never say never. But, again, I think my scars are pretty valuable. And every time I look at, say, my arms or my legs or whatever, they're bittersweet memories, but memories that I've grown from. And I wouldn't want to cover them up for anything, to be honest. So, I dated a gal whose brother had a Finnish sauna in his Michigan lakefront home. Ooh, that sounds awesome. Cut a section of ice on the lake and had a polar plunge party. That sounds miserable. Cold water is... especially just jumping into it. Like, I understand the premise of it, and I understand the advantages that it can give your body, but as someone who's experienced hypothermia before, I have such a strong resistance to it. Well, in Finland, we threw water on the stones to get steam. When I was in the US, the sauna culture was very different. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've only ever been in one sauna, which was a dry sauna. I've never been in steam saunas or bathhouses or anything like that. So I'm not really at liberty to say what kind of saunas there are, what sauna culture is. But throwing water on hot coals or stones to get steam, I mean, that's how I always envisioned saunas to begin with. That's how media made it, or how media presented it to me initially, and that's what I always thought it was. So, yeah, I feel you on that. Have you seen Kelly O'Hara stage performance? They don't let you in the opera if you're a country star? Nope. I've never heard of that. In the opera, if you're a country star... That... Like, I get that that's a performance, but that title makes no sense to me. Like, what does it matter? Like, in terms of the opera scene, I will say that the majority of opera singers that I've met within the scene love music that could be labeled as the complete antithesis of what opera reflects. Like, I know people, wonderful opera singers in the scene, who love rap, hip-hop, metal, scream music. It's kind of similar to the idea that if you're a professional eater, why are you not fat? Why are you fit? And it's because they love eating and they love competing, but it's exactly for those reasons that they do have to be fit, that they do have to eat healthy and respect their bodies enough to keep competing like that. And it's very similar to opera. When you spend so much time sitting down, doing your homework, translating every word of the opera, not just your lines, especially if you're a lead role, but all the lines. Making sure you understand the story, understand the diction, making sure that every phrase is well thought out, and how you're going to perform something, especially in recitatives. And that's just the homework, let alone the rehearsals, and getting used to performing with others and figuring out choreography and practicing all of those things from rehearsals at home. And you're just so consumed by the operatic process that to listen to music outside of the classical sphere, and especially things that are just so raw and so forward facing and engaging that don't necessarily require a ton of vocal technique, but focus on differing aspects of the voice. It's one of the reasons why I love beatboxing so much, because it utilizes the voice in such a creative way that's so polarizing from classical vocal technique. But in the idea of rap music, for example, rap music is very much focused on the flow and your guile, your cunning nature to create lyrics that are striking or that emotionally connect with an audience. And because typically the beats themselves are pretty simplistic. It's another reason why I like lo-fi music so much, low fidelity music, which is also incredibly simplistic, but it's very relaxing and calm to me. I don't have to think too hard about how intricate or dynamic the music itself is. Even though I do love very intricate and dynamic music, just something simple that I can vibe to and just rest in, not think too hard about. There's something so simple and pure about that, and I really love that kind of music as well. So it all depends on where musicians want to go in terms of that line of country singers aren't allowed in the opera or whatever. But no, I think it just engaging with music, I think that's awesome. Engaging with art in any capacity, I think, is awesome. I saw an interview with Tony Hawk recently, and he was saying, look, if you just get on a skateboard and move, you are a skater in his eyes. And I thought that that was really beautiful, just in the sense of you don't need to be on the Metropolitan Opera stage in order to be an opera singer, even if you're just having fun with a few friends, just nonchalantly and casually, not even good, not even in the right key and singing poorly, but just having a good time singing opera, then you're singing opera. You are, in that moment, an opera singer. It doesn't make you a professional. It doesn't make you the, God's gift towards man in the opera field, but, it's just something you can enjoy. And people have to be, gotta stop being so uptight about, the inclusivity or the exclusivity of these things, I should say. And what it means to actually be this. If you're just enjoying something just because you want to enjoy it, then do it. Jeez. Don't let people on their soapbox dictate what you can or can't do, or should or shouldn't do. It's your life, and as long as you're not hurting others, do your thing. Put that on your radar. It's a spoof. Kaylee okay. I'm not quite sure who Kaylee is, but I'll take your word for it. New sub here. I'm only a couple of hours old. You're a couple of hours old and you can speak English this well? Oh my gosh. Took me a minute to understand, but no, I get that that's a subscriber thing. Thank you so much for subscribing and joining the channel. I really do appreciate it. And it's really great to have you here, especially from Ireland. Ireland is absolutely a place I would love to visit in the future. I've only seen photos, but the natural beauty of Ireland looks breathtaking, and I would love to experience that firsthand. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope that I can provide you content that you enjoy. Yeah. Oy. The Midlands. I'm assuming that's in the middle of Ireland. I don't know anything about the geographic location of places. Like I said, I actually have to go out and experience things. Kelly O'Hare has quite a voice. I should have said the song is a spoof. Sorry. Ah, I see. Well, we Irish love a good story. I believe that. I too love a good story. That's probably a bit of my Irish lineage passed down. I'm not quite sure all of the things I have. The things that I know that I have are Italian, German, Irish, and Native American. But I think there's a couple of others that I'm not too sure about. But yeah. Something interesting though, when I visited home, I was looking through a lot of the old VHSs and cassettes and DVDs that was at the house, and I actually found a couple of my university performances hidden deep in there. And I'm on the fence about not necessarily about uploading them, but clipping them a little bit and just finding some really fun performances that I had, just to give an idea of what it was like for me to perform on stage, because I was very animated on stage, and I really enjoyed performing a lot. So just active storytelling means so much to me. Like, being able to engage with an audience, even if it's an audience of one, just being able to sit with them and, like, one of the most mesmerizing performances I ever saw in my lifetime was Robin Williams' stand-up. And seeing people like him, like Jim Carrey, who don't really care necessarily about how they looked, they just expressed themselves fully and entirely, and you just felt that. You felt this enormous charismatic energy emitting off of them, being extricated from their being in this way that was so profound and beautiful, and it was just unmatched. And I was so mesmerized by it, and even though a lot of my personality wants to gear towards very relaxed, chill vibes, I really dig chill vibes, and just listening to lo-fi blue atmosphere, like morning mist kind of feeling. I know that who I am as a person is just very intrinsically Robin Williams stand-up, just wow, all over the place. When I smile for pictures, I don't just give like a small, charming-esque smile, but my mouth is very big, it's very open. And it's just who I am. Oh, cool. People are getting to see that the world is a lot smaller. That's awesome. Something that I want to do in my life is become a pilot. And But that's going to be after I become financially independent. And I was listening to an aerospace engineer discuss his field recently. And a point he made really stuck with me, which is ultimately airplanes serve as a tool to make the world smaller, and making the world smaller, I believe, is a great way to make the world better. And when he said that, I reflected on that, because on one hand, the world is a big place to us, and there's so many different cultures, different environments, different ways of engaging with life, different politics, etc., and it's so dynamic and diverse. And the complexity of the world is so nuanced. The complexity of a single individual is so nuanced, let alone the complexity of the world. And I thought that there was a natural beauty to that, more like a natural beauty to the richness and the depth of what it means to be a part of life on Earth. But then at the same time, I understand where he's coming from with that. Just in the sense of, to make something so big and complex just feel a little bit more intimate, a little bit smaller, and to say that we're more easily able to access different cultures, access or broaden our own horizons from our own lifestyle, and engage with other lifestyles, engage with other lands in a way that's rich and authentic. I think that's where he was going with that. And I thought, and ultimately where I'm going with this is, yes, I agree with the aerospace engineer that using aeroplanes as a tool to make the world a little bit smaller is quite a beautiful thing. I have to run for the evening. Enjoy the rest of the stories tonight. I'll try to catch up later. Peace, love, and music to all. That's a lovely thing for you to say, and I hope you also have a wonderful rest of your night, Rebecca. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. So something that I was thinking about was, I do not thrive in very humid places. I don't mind getting sweaty, but I think there's a time and a place for that. And I run very warm naturally. My place is considerably colder than most of my loved ones' places. I just feel very warm naturally. So when I'm in a humid place, especially a warm, humid place, I'm just so miserable. But one of the places that I really do want to visit is the Philippines. And I know that it's grossly humid there most of the time. But one of my ex-girlfriends was a Filipina, and the food that her family made was incredible. It was so just like it was essentially a buffet for I think 8 to 10 people that were there. And this buffet felt like it served 100 people. And it was so good. It was so good. There's so much natural beauty that I've seen through images over there as well. But gosh darn it, dude, I would love the opportunity to visit. Other human places I visited is New Orleans, and I love that place as well. Very rich in its culture and its history. But again, human places are quite difficult for me to navigate. There is nothing in the world quite like flying a plane. It was only a Cessna, but it was so liberating. Slipping the surely bonds of Earth. Yes. I've only ever flown in a plane, not actually be the pilot, but my grandparents, were both pilots, and not as their careers necessarily, but they knew how to fly, and did so from time to time. And I was just so captivated by it. My grandmother actually, for a long period of time, worked at the Palm Springs Air Museum, and specifically showed me around her plane, which was I believe it was a 45 bomber, and I got to explore the cockpit and maneuver around through it, and it was just love at first sight, dude. Like, just really, really awesome. And I was so captivated by that I learned the pilot's alphabet, quote unquote, and I'm like, this is easy. And then I looked at the pilot's handbook, and I'm like, go. I mean, I'm still determined to learn it, but when I actually have a lot more free time to be able to do so, absolutely. How much does humidity affect the voice? I mean, it depends on where you're performing. If you're performing in an outdoor venue where the outdoors are very humid, then it can affect it greatly. You know, your body is your instrument, and if your body is in a consistent attempt to regulate itself, your voice is going to feel the effects of that. You know, it's not quite the same as drinking milk beforehand where you're coating the inside of your throat with phlegm. But, you know, your body is under, I wouldn't necessarily say a consistent amount of stress, but it's constantly regulating itself through temperature control. And, you know, that can dehydrate you very quickly. And if you're singing, especially in opera, for a very long period of time, you need to be well hydrated. Even singing indoors for a long period of time dehydrates you. So if you're outdoors sweating, it's pretty tough, honestly, just from personal experience. But that being said, it's from personal experience. Some people might have might adjust and adapt themselves to their environment, so it depends on the individual in that way. But I definitely think that singing in humidity is considerably more challenging, and not I can't say that I don't recommend it, because there might be some advantages that I might not just be seeing right now, but I wouldn't recommend it for myself. No. Happy coffee. Yes, I love coffee. Much. Builder's finger. All good. All good. I think after this, I might make some tea and just sit with a nice cup, relax a little bit, then head to a workout. That sounds really pleasant, honestly. Actually, I might listen to lo-fi with the tea. That sounds pleasant as well. So, what else has been happening? Have you guys visited any fun places in recent times? My friend spent a small fortune on flying lessons, got to fly solo, then had heart surgery, had to stop. Will be extremely difficult to get a license with his medical record. That's really rough. Yeah, I saw how expensive getting your pilot's license can be, even a private pilot's license, let alone a commercial pilot's license. But, you know, like any field, it's get in debt, spend a career getting yourself out of debt, and that's the life you live. And I never really cared for that, to be honest. Like I said, when I do decide to be a pilot, it's going to be after I've become financially independent. Yeah, that's really rough. Also, having a medical condition that prevents you from actually getting your license, that's really rough. My condolences. T, you definitely have Irish in you. Sure. I mean, I know people of all cultures that enjoy tea, so I'm not sure if it's exclusively Irish, but I appreciate that, the joke on that. Ren Fair LA, May. Look up and down the hills in 90 pounds of underwear. Sound familiar? Ren Fair. Well, first, I've never been to an LA Ren Fair. I don't know. Well, first, I don't know if you're referring to Los Angeles or Louisiana. But I've only ever been to one Renaissance Fair, and it was in Oregon, actually. And it was so beautiful. It was deep in a forest, and I loved every second of it. The person I went with was not necessarily a person I enjoyed being around, but the fair itself was quite lovely, and I enjoyed it a lot. But in 90 pounds of underwear sound... No, it doesn't. Ultimately, I'm sorry. Going to Washington State to visit this friend in 3 weeks. Oh, that's awesome. I would also love to visit Washington. I guess you can call it a date, but I guess I went on a date with a person from Washington, and yeah, they said it was beautiful, so I'll take their word for it. Old timer here, Agora, loved every second of it. I believe it. Switched the hobby from flying to sailing. Oh. I mean, that's awesome. Just getting away from screens, just being out in the open. And it makes a lot of sense that that your friend would transition to that. As terrified as I am in the air, I'm even more terrified being in the sea. Like, even when I'm at the beach, I don't go farther than kneecaps deep in the ocean. And typically, I'll just go ankles deep and just enjoy seeing the ocean and feeling the ocean water on my feet, the cool sand under me, finding a big stick and just sketching something out in the sand and just enjoying the vibes, you know? But, dang, dude. Sailing is a beast in and of itself. The only thing that even got me remotely interested in going out into the sea was actually the film Forrest Gump, when Forrest got his little shrimping boat. I love that film. So great. I worked at. Oh, that's awesome. Elizabethan gear. You sweat a lot. I can only imagine. I'm trying to recall the most amount of clothes I ever had on one time, and it was definitely for a performance. I believe I had 5 layers. And it wasn't, and the first layer wasn't even necessarily clothes, it was just head to toe body paint, which actually made the lights from the stage more intense. It was rough. It was, to say the least. But it was really incredible because we were doing an interpretation of the Damnation of Faust, and it's a dark but incredible opera, beautiful music, and we were doing it under like a Twilight Zone theme where everything was black and white and we were all painted as such, and it was really, really cool. I loved being a part of that performance. But yeah, not only did we have that paint, but it was also a lot of clothing and a lot of layers. And that was rough. You should try the Great Lakes. No salt, no sharks, just sand. But sand is coarse, and it's rough, and it gets everywhere. And I have nothing against sharks or salt or anything like that. The reason why I have a fear of the sea is just because of the sea itself, not necessarily the inhabitants. Like, the crashing waves, like, the overwhelming presence of water is very intense for me. So I'd say that's the main reason as to why. But I love being out at the ocean itself and just hearing the waves crash against the shore and taking in that rich ocean scent and all those things. But that doesn't mean to say that I don't love visiting lakes. Not too long ago, I visited Big Bear Lake in California, Southern California. And that was beautiful. It was snowing at the time, but the lake wasn't frozen over, and you just saw a few ducks out on the river, or the lake, I should say, and yeah, just very vast and beautiful, and the morning sunrise and sunsets were just gorgeous. Especially with the snowfall. It just, yes, chef's kiss. I would go back in a heartbeat. But, needless to say, yes, I would love to visit the Great Lakes. I just want to visit as many places as possible. I want to engage with the world as much as possible. I mentioned, I want to say at this point, several live streams ago, that I visited an aquarium, and that got me thinking so deeply about just life on Earth and seeing all of the dynamic and interesting different types of sea creatures and fish and jellies and frogs and that's just and those are just creatures that have adapted themselves to aquatic environments, let alone all of the myriads of species of land animals and the myriads of aquatic animals that I haven't seen at the aquarium. And life on Earth is just so rich and dynamic, and I'm blown away every time that I get to drive scenic routes and I just see all of the different species of plants, let alone of animals and life. And, I think it's such a privilege to be able to be alive and experience the world around us so consciously. It's truly magnificent, I think. I guess you'll never be hungry because of all the sand which is there. That was really good. I love dad jokes. Thank you so much for that. That was chef's kiss cringeworthy. Sometimes I can hear the waves on Lake Michigan when I go to bed. Very relaxing. I can imagine. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Don't be sorry. Yeah. There was a place where I used to live where just a short 30-minute walk away was this beautiful mountainside where you could just overlook the entire valley and you could see the sun setting so beautifully, and just behind the mountains, and it was so beautiful. And there were often an evening when I would head out over there about an hour or so before sunset. I would just be out there reflecting, meditating, just enjoying the atmosphere. And then I would be surrounded by small trees, grass, shrubs, tons of flowers and dandelions, and that made me so just happy. Made me feel very grounded. And I would often just lie on my back the moment sunset happened and I got to view it, and I would just take a nap there. And it was, I really miss that place. Yeah, I would visit that place again in a heartbeat. Oh, yes. Yes. That is something else that I was reflecting on recently, just in terms of the live streams themselves. I'm probably going to put this as a community post at some point, but I really want to try to find the best time that most people are able to actively be here and engage with the live stream itself. So at some point soon, I'm probably going to move the time of the live stream. And also, with that being said, I want to do my best to make the live stream an hour. There's just so much that I still have to do throughout the day, and the more I rant and the more I stand on my soapbox and vent about things, the more I lose track of time, and I want to be as consistent in my schedule as possible, because there's still a lot I have to do today. I'd like to keep it at an hour. So this live stream is probably going to wrap up soon. Are you affected by the fires? Hope you and your family are safe. Well, thank you for that. Presently, no. We were originally, but we're doing okay now. Even though there's a lot of fires in the area that my family is located in right now, they're far enough away that they're not really being affected presently. And also, over the next few weeks, fortunately, the weather is going to be cooler. There's even going to be rain on one of the days. So I'm really hoping that a lot of the fires that are surrounding the greater Los Angeles area get a lot more progress on containment there. Yeah. In that case, you have 2 minutes left. Right now, I have less than a minute left. 10 p.m. Yes. Okay. Then yeah, I'll probably put it out as a community post, so I can find a really more optimal time for people to join in and engage more with the live streams. But with that said, it's been an hour, and I have a lot more that I have to do today, but I really appreciate all of you being here and engaging in the live streams and just having a good time, vibing, talking about stuff, and this is really awesome. How about the 4.7 earthquake today? My partner is actually more located to that neck of the woods, and she said that was her alarm clock this morning. I laughed. Yeah, but if you live in California, which I have most of my life, it wasn't until that I actually started branching out and exploring other countries that I have no longer lived there. But if you live in California, you're very adjusted to earthquakes. It's what it is, you know. It doesn't make it any less terrifying, but you know, you come to expect it. You're prepared, and you just, you know, stressing about it doesn't really do anything for you. So, with that said, best wishes for continuing the reaction adventures. Well, thank you so much. That really means a lot. Thank you. That elevated my mood. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're going to see the direction the channel goes in the future. You know, I don't want it to be exclusively just reactions. I would like to do interviews and performances and be more entertaining and engage with the world in a way that's more rich than just sitting and reacting to things, even though, you know, that's a staple of the channel. But we'll see how it goes. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. It was really great being here. And I'll see you guys in the next video.